Peace. What's good? How y'all doing? As soon as I unmute my mic, I drop my pen, of course, just to, be smooth with it. But peace and love and good evening. It is Saturday, November 8th. How y'all doing? I pray this message reaches you all in the best of health, spirit, and mind. I just totally impromptu went live. So it's been about 3 minutes. I'm going to give it maybe 2 more minutes and notify people that I'm live and give people a chance to get notified. And then I will get started with what I want to say today. Shout out to everybody in the chat room so far. Miss Poetic Just, I am Freed Love or Free Dove. Actually, probably a little bit of both. Shaka, King Black, peace, what's good? How you doing? Happy to have you guys here with me. It is a Saturday evening. I know people probably out turning up, but there's a couple of things that I was pondering and wanted to share. So, like I said, give me a couple minutes and then I will get started. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay in the chat room, if my sound is coming across okay. My screen is supposed to be playing this oceanic video in the background, but it keeps getting stuck. But in order to stay on course with what I want to talk about, I'm not going to let it get the best of me. So just let me know if you guys can hear me okay. Okay, how's my sound now with my 528 hertz frequency? Can you hear it? I want it to be heard, but not to be competing with my voice. But I do find that my energy and my, perspective and clarity do tend to be a little bit more where I want it to be when I have some sort of frequency sound in the background. It helps me to not get triggered by comments in the chat and all types of other things that come with doing content in the social media world. So let me know if you can hear that. Okay, so I'm just letting my social media, my Facebook and Instagram family know that I'm live. This is an impromptu conversation that I decided to have because I was thinking some things and writing some things and sharing some things with my email list, as well as a couple of other things that I have going on. And what was I reading today? An article about censorship in terms of how the internet is cracking down now. And of course, I got re-triggered from being censored myself. And so that set off another train of thoughts. Um, Let me know if my sound is okay. I have this frequency playing from my phone, and it's pretty close to the microphone, but I wanted to be heard without being intrusive. So if somebody in the chat room can just let me know if you can hear the frequency music, and then if it's blending with my voice or is it outpacing me. And I titled this video Holding Space with ZaZa Ali because I'm doing a once a month event in Los Angeles at Baba's Vegan Cafe. Originally, I said first Saturdays, but it's going to be on second Saturdays. The next one is going to be on Saturday, December 13th. Doors open at 4 p.m. And great day and elevation. Okay. Peace and love. Thank you for being here, Charles. Can you guys please let me know in the chat room if my sound is okay and if you can hear my frequency music? So, Holding Space with ZaZa Ali is the title that I am giving to those particular events here in LA, which are open to the public and no cover charge. And it's something that I feel inspired to do because I notice in my events, I notice in my workshops, I notice when I work with people, when I listen to people, when I am in the presence of people, that many, if not most of us, are not feeling seen and heard, right? And there's so much chaos happening, and we're constantly being inundated with information and knowledge and technology and fear based consciousness and lack based consciousness. It's like inundating us everywhere at levels that we can't even calculate. But holding space and listening and having a space where you're being seen and where you're being heard is very important, especially in this timeline, especially for the knowledge seekers and the keepers of light, which is what I identify with, you know? And so if you're sensitive energetically, if you feel strongly for other people, if you have a strong um, sort of antenna when it comes to other people, then it's going to be just as even more critical, I'll say, for you to be tapped in spiritually, for you to be grounded, for you to be at some level of self awareness and inner peace to be able to navigate the chaos and insanity that's happening in this world. And that includes the people around us, the people in our families, as they align themselves with things based on choices and based on the energetic resonance that they're on. So let me know in the chat room if you guys can hear me okay. I've said that like 10 times now. Poetic just said I was good earlier, and then I turned the frequency music on. So I'm just trying to make sure you guys can hear me okay. I have a couple of things I want to announce, and this is not going to be a long video because it's Saturday evening, and I'm happy that I even have those of you guys with me, because the turn up be real, right? But holding space with ZaZa Ali. The next event is going to be in Los Angeles on Saturday, December 13th. This is a free public event for the culture, for the community there in South LA. And we had a wonderful, wonderful time this past, November 1st. It was dope. We had a great turnout. The energy was beautiful. The questions were beautiful. The conversation was beautiful. I was going to go live and post it on YouTube, but I wanted for that first event to be just us that were there so that I could kind of get a feel for what the experience was going to be like, and the spacing and the seating and the tables and all of that, and positioning for cameras and all of that. I didn't really want to be focused on that. I just wanted to be present and to have a beautiful experience, and we did. And it was very inspiring for me to continue to do that and to hold space here in LA. And so that's one of the reasons now I know that as much as I was ready to leave a couple of years ago, why God sat me down and forced me to sit down to stay here, because there is work that I need to do here right now. And Spirit has confirmed that for me for sure. So again, Holding Space with ZaZa Ali is going to be every second Saturday in Los Angeles at Baba's Vegan Cafe. I am looking for poets and maybe people who do drums or sound baths or something to that effect that might want to contribute to these type of experiences. If you want to reach out to me, info@ZaZaAli.com. Again, this is a free community event. I'm not charging any money for this. So if you are willing to come and offer, your artwork or your art form or your contribution. With that in mind, we would love to have you. And as I continue to, um, well, I was going to say continue to start broadcasting live on my YouTube channel, that's going to be beautiful because that'll be more exposure. And I know that the things that we're going to be talking about and what's happening in the world eventually is going to be, a really, really dope experience that people are looking to come to be a part of in that part of LA. So, yeah, holding space with ZaZa Ali in LA. And then the other thing is, I'm doing a 24-hour flash sale on ancient people. I'm going to be doing these periodically up until the end of the year. So right now you can save $44 on the history and social studies and history textbook, Ancient People, the hardcover version. The link is in the description to save that, and that's, I believe, a beautiful, perfect gift to give someone. Maybe they love history. Maybe they just love beautiful books. Maybe they just love culture and colorful things and shiny things. All of those things are in this book, a 265-page full color textbook and history book that encompasses 150,000 years of ancient history, melanated people all around the world. A lot of people that most people have never even heard of. So when I say we're taking all of our culture back, this is one of my contributions to that. So you can save $44 off the next 24 hours. Tomorrow at midnight, that sale is going to expire. And shout out to everybody that's already supported this book. I appreciate you so much. Again, the link is in the description. If you want to take advantage of that, you just pay the flat fee plus shipping, and it will ship within 24 hours, 48 hours. Also, I'm relaunching my Climbing the Ladder of Yourself group workshop for women. The information for that is in the description as well. So if you are a woman who is interested in committing the next 6 months to a group workshop type of experience where we meet once a month, and then we also do bi-weekly exercises, individual as well as group exercises. And I have gained a lot of data and insight in these last groups that I had, and my overall work with women and what I know is going on in the world and what has been going on with me, to be able to again hold space in this capacity, something that's private and something that is safe to be vulnerable and to be open and to talk about the things that we're all dealing with in our struggles. And that's what I created this workshop for. So I already have 5 women who are signed up for this for the next 6 months from November to May of 2026. And I have a couple of spaces left open. So if you're interested, click the link in the description. And this is a 6 month program with a once a month fee and contribution to be a part of it. But it will be very beneficial if you are one of those among us that's striving for the light and striving to be sane and to be balanced and to thrive during this timeline and during this hour. So, Ancient People, $44 off. The link is in the description. That's a 24-hour flash sale. Really, really short, but get it while it's hot sale on the textbook. And then Climbing the Ladder of Yourself. This is a focus group for the next 6 months for women only. And I have a couple of spaces available for that. And then Holding Space with ZaZa Ali, a free, I don't like using the word free because I think it sounds kind of cheap. So I say no cover charge, but it is a public event that's open to my people and my loved ones here. I love LA. I know California gets a lot of flack. I'm from Oakland. Oakland always gotten a lot of flack. But I'm really enjoying the city right now. I'm really enjoying the weather. And I paid a heavy price this year being involved directly and indirectly with those fires. So I feel like it's only right for me to get reciprocity and to balance that experience out with, you know, loving it and appreciating being here. Um, Peace to you guys in the chat room. Okay, good. You can hear me. Wonderful. Peace, Zaza chat. Peace, moderators. I have a good friend in LA who is a singer and a sound bowl healer in LA. Okay, so maybe you can make that introduction and share the information that I shared. And if your friend is interested, we would love to have him or her be a part of that. So some of the notes that I wrote down, just in terms of the bigger picture, what's happening in the world, the macrocosm and the microcosm, and me doing this event, holding space with ZaZa Ali, is one of the motivations for doing this video because As important as it is for us to hold space face to face, it's also important, even in the world of social media and the internet, that we can have these types of videos and this type of content where we can listen and feel seen and feel heard, right? And so I know that's important because I'm always on YouTube, when I'm working and you want to have something inspiring or something grounding in the background that's kind of giving you inspiration while you do whatever you're doing. Sometimes I'm searching for that and I'm not finding it. And so I have like a couple of pages here and there that will, in videos and content that will be recommendation for that, but it's like few and far in between now. A lot of the spiritual and metaphysics pages are redundant at this point, saying a lot of things that have already been said, but not giving it proper context for what's happening in the world. And that's why it's not sticking to the ribs. But we have the SNAP and EBT situation and all of the energy and fanfare. So what we have to be mindful of is there's mass energy harnessing taking place right now on a collective level. And it's very subtle and it's very strategic and it's very wickedly wise. Well, I say the only way out of this is within. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. You have to have serious spiritual discernment and mental discernment to be able to tell what's real on the internet and what's not anymore. And that's just on the internet now. Pretty soon that's going to be in real life too. So, problem, reaction, solution. What's the problem? The government shuts down. What's the reaction? They claim that they're going to cut off food stamps and, make the most vulnerable people amongst us even more vulnerable. And they're going to do it in front of the world, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's part of their reaction. And then our, meaning the collective conscious reaction, is anger, frustration, protesting, vitriol, all of the things that come with that, right? With every reaction, there's an equal and opposite reaction or opposite reaction, but it's energy harnessing. And then the Supreme Court, I believe it was, came in and said that that's not, feasible, and that Trump ordered the federal government and Trump to release those payments. And so if I read correctly, yesterday, I believe it was, they said that people received unexpected payments, right? And so the ship has been sort of re-steered. I don't know if that counts for everybody or just some places or some things, but I did read that, right? But I knew that he was either going to pause it for November and then come back and in December double down on the payments. This is all like good cop, bad cop. Give you a little bit, take a lot. Give you a little bit, take a lot. And then right on the heels of that, we also have the situation with the air traffic controllers, with the airplanes, with all of the chaos at the airports, right? Which mimics and mirrors a lot of the chaos that was in the airports during the PLAN demic. So this is pushing a button and starting chaos. This is pushing a button and starting chaos consistently, continuously, to where, you see a fighter in the ring and the opponent is just hitting them with so many blows, and they're not able to regain their footing, because as soon as you do, you get hit with another shot. That's what's happening right now. The cold, callous, and shrewdness of it all. I need us to pay attention to that. Not like get immersed in it and become that or mirror that or resonate that, but be a witness to it and observe it, because in that experience is a lesson for us. That's what we are not to become. Nothing like them, nothing of them. Look at how vulnerable so many people in this country are, that 1 month of not receiving food stamps or SNAP benefits or welfare assistance, how viable and vulnerable they are in those situations. Look at how many of the air traffic controllers and the people that work for the federal government who missed one or two paychecks, how unstable and how fragile their lives are. I'm talking about people that work for the federal government. Not to mention the average person who's working a regular job or a small business owner, et cetera, et cetera. Those are supposed to be the prestigious jobs. And so the coldness and the callousness and the shrewdness is activating the people who are operating on that same frequency. This is why you see people spazzing out and spinning out and crashing out. And crashing out is a part of it's our common lexicon right now. It's like everybody's saying that. Pushing buttons and starting chaos. The government shutdown. Look at everything that's happened from the beginning of this man's presidency. And it didn't start with Trump, trust me. It was already unfolding. Obama walked so Biden could run, so Trump could dictate. They all played their positions. It's all relative. That's why being caught up in the Democratic and Republican aspect of this is a waste of time. You're in the maze. If you find yourself arguing the points that are on CNN and MSNBC and Fox News, you're in the maze. And I'm avoiding the maze at all costs. So there's a lot of theater and pre-programming going on. And then the problem, reaction, solution element of this. Trump is a representative of, you could say, the golden calf, but you could also say the Antichrist. And I don't think the Antichrist is one particular man. I think it's a frequency, a vibration that's being personified, that's being constructed, that's being magnified and evolved in so many ways right now. I don't even want to get into. That's mind blowing, to say the least. You got Mayweather confessing his allegiance to the people who are representing Satan at the highest levels, over the, running and controlling that situation over there in the Middle East. He's pledging his allegiance, and then at the same time showing himself on a jet, on a private jet, holding probably like $3 or $4 million, while simultaneously his people in America are concerned about being able to feed their families in the coming days. You see how these people operate. So it's triggering. Most of his followers are barely making ends meet, right? And so you've got all these extreme polarities going on, and it's triggering to the average person. And this is, again, feeding the beast, mass energy harnessing. So who can sit still? Who can be still? Who can be unmoved? Who can be untriggered? This is why all of our triggers coming to the surface for the last couple of years has been so critical and so important, because we have to work through that. We have to master those experiences so that in this coming hour where mass chaos and fear-based consciousness and programming is going to be the order of the day, we're not constantly being triggered and being locked in a lower-based consciousness, lower-based energy and frequency. That work has to be done and cultivated right now. So that's why all of our triggers have been coming to the surface, and all the stuff that we used to do to be centered and to be grounded hasn't been working. There's mass Jedi mind tricks taking place to trigger you. Look at Weinstein, look at Cosby, look at Epstein, look at R. Kelly, look at Diddy. They're harnessing the power of sexual abuse victims on a major level, and also punishing the ones who they empowered to magnify that wicked frequency in the first place. This is why you never make a deal with the devil, because he's never paid off. He's always consistently coming back to get a check, like the mob. The mob is not like one payment and then we're done. The mob is like, no, I'll be back next week, and every week thereafter. You can never repay a debt to these wicked people. And a lot of people who bit the bullet and who fell for the okie doke 2020 moving forward are about to see that, unless, of course, they've done the inner work and the spiritual work, which is the whole point of this conversation. But that's the part that people don't want to hear about or talk about. Mass triggering and harnessing of lower vibrational sexual energy trauma-based abuse victims, triggering major deep trauma in the collective consciousness, particularly as it pertains to women. Major energy harnessing taking place. So again, who can sit still, who can be still, who can be unmoved, who can be untriggered in the midst of all of this chaos? Once again, for those of you guys who are just coming in, I have a 24-hour flash sale on Ancient People, my history textbook. The information for that is in the description. You can save $44 for the next 24 hours. I'm also relaunching my Climbing the Ladder of Yourself ladies only focus group. I have 5 women confirmed for that, and I have a couple of spaces open. So if you're interested in being a part of that for the next 6 months, you can get information in the description as well. I'm doing an event holding space with ZaZa Ali in Los Angeles every second Saturday of the month. This is a public event. Everyone is welcome to come and be seen and be heard. This is my contribution and love offering to the city of Los Angeles. What's it going to take to stay sane in the midst of all of this insanity? Because these people are playing games with. Okay, my page was buffering a little bit. I hope you can hear me okay. But these people are playing mass mind, religious, spiritual warfare games, and the average person has no idea what's going on. The average person in our lives has no idea what's going on. They're pulling you. They're pulling you in every different direction. It's major ping pong programming going on. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, where, in what area of our lives are we 100% focused consistently? There needs to be something, and some things really, because a lot of us are good at multiple things. We just been conditioned and programmed that we're only supposed to do one thing. I know a lot of people that are good at multiple things. I'm good at a lot of stuff. I just am. Like I really, with the right, if once my money is right and I can really kind of stretch out and do the stuff I want to do, I'm good at a lot of stuff. But I can say that and mean that and not be arrogant, because I know a lot of other people that are good at a lot of stuff. Like good artists, and then also a good poet, and then also, a good at do it yourself, and then also like studious in their own particular thing, and then also like might be a rapper or might be a singer, but then also like can make clothes and or design things or do graphics. A lot of us are good at a lot of stuff. We just aren't able to explore those things. So having things where we're 100% focused is how we explore those things. Because that's really where our new world order, divine new world order economy is going to come from. It's going to have to come from those of us that are doing things that we love. That's where the abundance frequency and gratitude frequency can live and live strong. And this is why, and this is for myself in particular, so many of us have been under the gun in terms of like career decisions, business decisions, needing capital, getting to the next level, struggling as business owners and struggling as spiritually aware business owners, because that's a different itinerary and intention, has a different set of guidelines and instructions, right? And not a lot of people take that path. But so there's been this strange sort of like bottleneck space where we haven't been able to break through. And so it's forcing us to identify and to focus in and to lean into something or some things where we are 100%, 1000% present and focused. I was going to go live on my birthday, which was just this past November 5th, Wednesday, which is election day, which has always been a very high vibrational day. So my whole life, my birthday being on November 5th was always like there was extra added energy around it. Last year, really all of the elections for LA have been high energy, but it's not just because LA is everywhere in these last 5 years. But last year when Trump was selected, the energy on my birthday was very dense and heavy and somber in LA. And then this particular day, where there's a feverish pitch about the government shutdown and all of that, the energy is very, very high. And I was like, I don't want to go live. I don't want to be like, I just want to be present. I just want to appreciate this full moon that's following me as I'm driving. I just want to be 100% here in the now, right now. Because soon, the minute I turn the camera on, I'm holding space for other people. That's the thing that doesn't get quantified with content, with the way I do my content. Anytime I can't turn this camera on, I'm holding space for other people. Because it's natural, what I'm naturally wired to do. But no, on my birthday, I'm going to hold space for myself. So I didn't. And it's getting harder and harder for me to do things and to invest in things that I don't feel inspired by, or that my spirit and my soul is like, yes, thumbs up, green light. It's getting harder and harder for me to do things that I'm not feeling alive and feeling stimulated and invigorated by. It feels like there's something like major in the air, right? The energy in the air is a thing, it's intense. So I said, like, my birthday being on the 5th, and just like every year, November 5th, this election energy, and having that be a part of my story and in the background and the backdrop of my story. That's why I always knew God had a major plan for my life. It's one of the ways, you know? Like, I'm celebrating me, and the world is trying to make a decision, or America is trying to make a decision on how things are getting ready to be ran and handled. It's a big deal. That's how I see it. So, and then you had the full moon, right? And then you've got the whole Trump situation, the whole government situation, red versus blue, both of them telling you and showing you that none of them really have any power and any common sense to make anything make sense. This country is making way too much money to ever have a government shut down. That's not how business operates. That's not how politics operates. That's not how corporations, colleges, universities, all areas of people activity, the DMV. There's too much money going into the infrastructure of these institutions for them to ever be shut down. That's why I say push a button and they start chaos. That's why I'm not voting for anybody. I'm not signing my name to any of this bullshit. I'm not making any contractual agreements, implied or direct or indirect, with Satan. So I was going to go live, but then I was like, no, I'm not going live just because I don't feel like doing it. And it is what it is, you know? And like enjoyed my day and enjoyed the full moon and enjoyed being present. We need to really focus in on that being quiet, that being still, that being present, that being mindful, having something that we're reaching towards, reaching for the light, reaching for intelligence, reaching for excellence, reaching for clarity, reaching for togetherness, reaching for unity, but with like minded people. I don't want to unify with everybody. I'm not that type of spiritual lady. I can wish you love from across the street or across the planet, but I don't want to unify with everybody. I want to be around like minded, like spirited, like hearted people that I feel comfortable enjoying and sitting down and having a cup of tea with you and having you in the presence of my son when I'm not around and not having to have my guard up. So I don't want to unify with everybody, but I do want to magnify love. That's the point of this conversation, and clarity and togetherness. We don't have to, be on the same accord to recognize the beauty of the individuality. And, you think about something like SNAP benefits and EFT and how many people are holding on by a thread. That's not what we came here for. That's why certain passages in the Bible that talk about when God's posture is like I gave you everything and the devil gave you nothing. And almost like God is clutching his or her pearls. Like, how dare you? I gave you everything. He gave you nothing. What does I gave you everything mean? The sun, the moon, the stars, the planet, the building materials to build everything that we see in this reality, the physical prowess and acumen to be healthy and well and toned and physically fit and a beautiful reflection of the Most High. How can you say love God? You love God if you don't take care of your body. Make it make sense. Now that's a little too pragmatic for the average person, but hey, we're waiting on God and God is waiting on us. Once again, to those of you guys who just chimed in or who will be watching this later, I'm running a 24-hour sale on my Ancient People textbook, $44 off. That sale ends at midnight. This is going to be a beautiful gift, Kwanzaa and whatnot, or whatever type of celebration you do. If you give gifts and you like, I'm a gift giver, so I like giving people gifts that kind of, shake the room a little bit and make people feel happy and excited. So this is one of those gifts. For the next 24 hours, you can save 44, yes, $44. Pay a flat fee and $8 for shipping. I'm also opening and relaunching my Climbing the Ladder of Yourself, which is a women's only focus group for the next 6 months from November to May of 2026. Our first meeting is going to be November 15th. I have a couple of spots left for that. The information is in the description. Major cities are, we could say I'm in a major city, right? I'm here for a purpose. I have a purpose. I know why I'm here. But I also know that eventually we're going to need to be finding ourselves more immersed in natural, organic environments where we can grow our own food because the food is really, 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 really being weaponized right now. We need to be more spiritually focused, all of us, more grounded. I saw in a video earlier about the censorship that is taking place now where they're not showing us anymore. Like there's like a blackout to what's happening in the Middle East, what's happening in the Congo and the Sudan. And so this is another part of the Jedi mind tricks because I know for a fact from the end of 2020 up until about 2022, the beginning of 2022, my content, my page, all of my social media pages were censored so bad that people could not find me, could not see any of my content. It was like I didn't exist. So I knew then and there that whenever they want to push the button and turn off anybody, they can. So when, what's his name? Man, his name is on the tip of my tongue. Sean King was on Instagram, and for, I don't know, it might have been 6 months, it was a certain amount of time where they allowed him as well as a lot of other prominent Middle Eastern researchers, social media content makers, real, journalists, news people, when they were allowing us to see what was happening there, it was because they wanted to. And they were pretending like they were censoring people, but they weren't really censoring people. So they turned the light back on and let the floodgates come through again in terms of the content. Now they're turning it off again. Why? Because the building process is starting in that land that they just wiped out. They're getting ready to start the building process, which they told us they were going to do anyway. So it's turn the light off, turn the light on. Good cop, bad cop, give you 20 feet, and then I take 100. 2 steps forward, 10 steps back. God said, I gave you everything. The devil said, I gave you nothing. And you still came with me. This is why I keep saying, wherever you go, there you are. This is why we need to be spiritually focused and not be running away from any particular area, because this is not just happening in America. This is a global war. They're handling Africa in a very different way. They have been since 2020. They took our rights and responsibility, our rights and the things that we're so accustomed here to in America. They took that away from us and they started to give more of that to African nations in a very slow, strategic way that eventually is going to be digitally controlled. I'm not saying that's happening everywhere on the continent, but it's definitely happening. Again, the ID system and situation, all that stuff, it's all relative. So being mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically focused is the only way out of this situation. So when I say the only way out of this is within, that's what that means. Even though the physical is the physical element, but your physical body is not going to be right if your mind is not right. If your spirit is not right, you can go to the gym and work out an hour a day, 7 days a week. But if you got a weak energetic aura, if you got a weak mind, if your heart chakra is not strong, you're going to attract people that might physically look good, but that don't have any substance and any depth and any value because you are resonating that yourself. Having discernment right now is everything. I've seen 50 to 100 videos of Tupac all over social media. I saw one where he was on Sesame Street today. And everybody, I'm looking at the comments and everybody like, this is so dope. I wish he was here. At least we have this. And I'm just like, I'm not mad at it. I'm not going to allow any of this stuff to trigger me or to upset me. So I'm not mad at it. At first, I was kind of just like, I don't want anybody. I'm still living, but I don't want anybody taking my image and likeness and creating content. And if I don't want that living, I damn sure don't want that when I'm not here physically anymore. I know we're beyond the point of it being controlled and all of that, but I'm just saying, let the record reflect. I don't want that. Maybe some people do. For me, for my personal likeness, image and likeness, do not want that. And how are we in a space now where people don't have the right to say yay or nay? This works for me or I'm good on that. Anytime I express my opinions about it, it's you better get caught up. This is what it is. Yeah, that's what they want you to say. Again, harnessing mass public energy. Because if you believe the illusion, that's what actually makes it real. They don't even have to create the world. You create it for them in your mind. Oh my God, AI, if you don't do this, if you don't do that, you're going to get left behind. This is the new world. This is what it's going to be. Yeah, we write history in advance. Yes, the alchemists like me, the writers like me, the scribes, the ones who have foresight, we do that on a spiritual level. But anything that you conceive and believe to be true, you are contributing to whatever that program is. And that's the thing that people don't understand. Voting, giving your power to these people, protesting, giving your power to these people, justifying an unjust, wicked, savage, evil, wicked system by participating. I know that sounds scary because people can't conceive of living as sovereign beings in the midst of all of this, but that's you might want to start expanding and opening your mind. So accepting the AI, the POC AI videos, but then what happens if they put you in a video in a room that you weren't in, with a woman that you weren't in, as a man, in a precarious situation because they're trying to taint your image or take your business or put you in your place because you're a little bit too outspoken on social media or in real life, or using your voice to call your mother or your grandmother to con or scam them out of some money, and they end up paying it because they're afraid that something is happening to you or one of their loved ones. Then what? That's not even far-fetched. That's actually happening. Where there is no vision, the people will perish. The foresight of being able to tap into the minds and hearts of the people and see what's coming. There's a spiritual element to that. There's a mental element to that because we have enough data, the writings on the wall. We have more than enough data. The writing's on the wall. That's why I'm not even really going heavy with the data right now, because for me, the writing's on the wall. I appreciate people sending me content and information now that's verifying all the things I've been talking about for 15 years. But for me, the writing's on the wall. I'm kind of past a lot of that at this point because I'm with the foresight. I see what's going to be necessary for us to be able to maintain our sanity on a certain level, but then also thrive. Because I'm not in survival. I don't want to be in survival mode. That's the devil's program. That's the devil's plan. I'm not trying to be on that type of time. The goal is to thrive, but it's going to take a lot of inner work to be able to thrive in the midst of the chaos that's coming. Can you be still if the flights are shut down? Because right now it's just a government shutdown. But what happens when it's you're not compliant? You didn't take the Jim Jones juice. Yes, I did. Here's my paperwork. No, you didn't. That's fake. We know you didn't take it because you walked through the scanner and we can see what's in your blood through the infrared system in the scanner. We can tell you didn't take it because your it didn't light up under this UV ray light in the scanner that you walked through in order to get passage to fly. Yeah, this is the type of time they're on right now. This is what the blue lights and the street lamps that I've been directly and indirectly talking about all this time that I put up in my Instagram story recently and then turned around and took it down because the average person don't have the bandwidth for this. Can you be still? And even more important, can you be still? If you are in that number, how come you're not doing the work to detox that shit out of your body? I'd be in Japan, and this is totally hypothetical because it could never be me, but I'd be in Japan. I'd be in South America. I'd be where the shamans are. I'd be figuring out whatever I need to do to get that shit out of my body. But I'm just cut from a different cloth. Where there is no vision, the people will perish. This is the time to really be serious about mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical well being. We can't skip any of those lines. All of the things that we fear, all of our triggers, all the things that rule us, our lower nature, are the things that we do continuously to self-sabotage to make ourselves suffer. This is the timeline right now to deal, to purge, to address, to acknowledge, to elevate beyond. Holding Space with ZaZa Ali is a monthly event, once a month event that I'm doing here in LA at Baba's Vegan Cafe. The next one is Saturday, December 13th. Doors open at 4 o'clock. Climbing the Ladder of Yourself is a ladies only workshop, group workshop, and experience that I'm doing for the next 6 months. There's information in the description. I have a couple of spaces open for that. Our first meeting is Saturday, November 15th. And I have a 24-hour flash sale on Ancient People, my social studies and history textbook. It ends tomorrow at midnight. This is the perfect Kwanzaa gift. This is the perfect holiday gift. This is the perfect gift for somebody you love if you're a gift giver like myself. So 24 hours only. That book is available and it will ship out in the next 48 hours. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for your time, energy, and attention. And I will see you beautiful people again very soon. Peace and love.